Jai Guruji, continuing with my series of my, experiences with Guruji. And this is my second episode today. And as we know, and as we all feel it, and as my heart says it, uh, anything that I say or in any way that I describe my Lord, my Guruji, is less. I have no words, no experiences can, um, you know, do justice to explain how much he's been a part of this journey in my life today and before, and how much he has tried, that we all understand that he's a living force on this earth, and of just, thorough godliness. Um, to have reached Guruji like I did in that situation where I was so badly uh, injured, and I had such traumatic injuries, both physical and mental, and to come out of it unscathed, and to come out of it today with with a sense of being comfortable and taken care of, with no emotional baggage of the accident or the trauma that happened after the accident, is only because of a divine intervention. Otherwise, it is not possible that such a traumatic experiences does not leave your mind. But that's what Guruji does, right? So that's what Guruji can do. He can block out memories for you which are not serving you any good, and if you understand the depth of what I'm speaking, you will be able to relate to it. Many people on this earth, on this world, are living with memories and with things in their mind which keep reminding them every day of how maybe life has not been correct with them, or their situations that have not gone right with them. But Guruji, our God, has the power to actually block out these kind of memories from your system so that they don't disturb you or destroy you, which is not humanly possible so many times. And one of the biggest examples is to go through trauma and not have any memory of the repercussions of that accident in my mind. This accident, yes, happened before I met Guruji. One more incident that happened in front of, when Guruji was in the living form, and which left no memories in my mind, which did not, where Guruji made sure that he blocked out all the pain and all the suffering from my mind. And he just made me remember that entire episode of my life with only a sense of gratitude and smile towards him, is this one. So when I was, this is many, many years later, and Guruji had sent me to do satsang somewhere. And during that time when I was there, I developed a cyst on my hip. And when I developed that cyst, it became so big that it had to be cut open and a surgery had to be performed. And the scar still remains. And the surgery was very painful. And the post-operation care was also very, very painful. It was like an open wound, which had to be dressed every day. And but since I was this thing happened when I had been sent by Guruji to talk about Guruji, to do his satsangs. So that whole reason of it happening at a time like that, uh, today when I look back, I have no memories of the intense pain that I went through. It was so bad that I was only limping after some time. But I only remember how well I was taken care of, how well everything went, how well everything worked out. All my medications, everything worked really well. The surgery went really well. The doctors were so nice. They were so kind. They were so, um, patient with me. my family members, how much they took care of me, and how soon I came out of it. And this is what the memories is are, and this is what Guruji does. He does not let you remember the bad side, or he does not let you remember the negative sides of your life, which is so important today to lead probably a happier and a fulfilled life. Because when, it's ironic of troubles that you're going through, even after coming to Guruji, it's not that the troubles vanish, but yes, the intensity of the troubles goes down. The intensity of the suffering goes down. The intensity of what you have to go through goes down. And Guruji gives you that complete strength to cope up with all of this. And of course, he lessens the suffering. We know that. But does not let you remember or recall aspect of the whole thing, because we know and we feel that when all of this is happening, with anything that is happening in our life, we can feel Guruji's presence during that entire time, which just lessens our sufferings a great deal. One more time, when this kind of small mini operation was supposed to happen, was in Jalandhar. This was, I had come to Guruji, and I had started recovering from my accident. And one day, I don't know, just out of the blue, this was after 6 7 months of meeting Guruji. And one day, out of the blue, I developed a small cyst again on my face. And that cyst started growing so much that it, completely swelled up, and it closed one eye of mine. And when we rushed to the doctors again said that, a surgery had to be done, and there had to be a cut on my face to take out all the pus and everything. And we got very scared on hearing this, because I mean, having a cut on your face meant that a scar for life. So we were not at all prepared for this. And I was just recovering from the accident. So yes, I started crying and everything. And I just spoke to my dad. I remember this was in Jalandhar. And I was rushed to the army hospital there. And there the doctor said that, we are preparing the entire area of the surgery for you. And this has to be done fast. Otherwise, it will spread and it'll go to the brain. So I told my dad and I told my mom that I wanted to go to Guruji and I wanted to seek his blessings. And then if Guruji said that you still go ahead and get the operation done, I would do it. But I wanted even the operation to be done after I seek blessings from him. So I insisted, and my mom was with me, and she was like, "Yes, we have to go to Guruji before." And we kind of just ran out of the hospital, and we just told the doctors that we'll be back. And the doctors then gave us a certain time to come back. And when we went to Guruji in Jalandhar, I remember he was sitting inside in his room, and he knew and he saw that we were like very upset and we were weeping. And he just asked my mom that what happened. He asked me what happened, and I just kind of blurted out that this is what's happened, Guruji. They want to do this. So Guruji said that, never mind, just do it. And in my heart of hearts, I thought that, Guruji, if you wish it and if you will it, this operation can be avoided. I was very scared to go under the knife again. I had had a very, very troublesome time after the accident. I was just in and out of hospitals. I was sick of them. And another surgery was like very, very heartbreaking for me. But I just said all this in my heart. I didn't say anything to him. His aura was so powerful and so magnificent that you could never actually turn up and say something to him on your own till he asked you, till he started a conversation. So when he said, once or twice that it's okay, just get it done. So then I thought in my heart of hearts that, okay, so this has to be done. All right, I'll go in and I'll get it done. On our way out, he in Jalandhar, he used to give a lot of jal prasad. So he had this Rudraksh mala, which he used to put in the water, and the water would get blessed, and we would have it, and he would give it to us. So he asked me, go get a jug full of water. So I got a jug full of water, and he put his Rudraksh mala in it, and he told me to have it. And over like the next couple of hours, so I took the Jal Prasad and I was like, okay, Guruji. So Guruji said, no problem. Again, he gave us the reassurance that don't worry, everything will be fine, but just get it done and I'll see you again in the evening at 4 o'clock. And I thought, and my mom thought in our heart of hearts that going to the hospital, getting admitted, getting that, the surgery done and organized would itself take a lot of time. How is it possible that we would reach Guruji by 4 o'clock? It was just a thought that how is this going to happen? But like I said, we never ever questioned Guruji. We never cross questioned him. We never disobeyed him ever. Um, and it was tough because there were times when, Guruji would say something which would be completely out of the blue and you were not ready for it, you were not prepared for it. But I think Guruji had given that immense wisdom to the entire family, over a period of time, that there is no point in even letting that thought come to your mind, or that thought or question coming into your mind where you think that Guruji does not know what he's saying. So we decided that, okay, all right, Guruji knows that we have to, he said that come back, so let's see what happens. And we went back to the hospital. And now this time when we went back to the hospital, the doctors told me that we're not going to just we're not just going to do the surgery without, some important tests that have to be done. So he wrote down a couple of tests and he said that once you do these tests and once we get the result, only then we'll only then we'll prepare for the surgery. So getting the test done and getting free once the tests were done and waiting for the results and all of that, we actually reached Guruji by exactly 4 o'clock without our doing anything. It just worked out like that, that we were there at the time that he had given, which we thought, like, how's that even going to work out? But it worked out, and we were there with him at that particular time. And we sat with him and we were sitting and we were, he ordered for some samosas and chai prasad and all of that. And we sat with Guruji and they were just in Jalandhar. It was so different. It was so different. It was one so casual, so loving, so friendly that, sometimes we would be sitting with Guruji down. Guruji would be sitting down on the, on the floor. Not sometimes, I think 90% of the times he would be sitting down and we would be all sitting down next to him. And that day too, he was sitting down and we were just 4, 5, and Guruji was talking with us and joking and everything. And he gave us this prasad and we had the prasad. And then when it was time, when it was nearing our time to get back to the hospital, so Guruji says, you know what, I'll also come with you. And we looked at Guruji and we were like, and I just thought in my mind, Guruji's coming with us. So, and Guruji said, chalo, go get the car ready, put the car up, line up the car, and I'm coming with you. And I have some work ahead. So he said, my father would take Guruji ahead, and my mother would stay back with me in the hospital for the operation. So we were like, we were so happy inside us, and we just quickly, lined up the car. We got everything ready for Guruji to come with us. And Guruji came and he sat with us, and he actually reached the army hospital in Jalandhar. And when we reached there, Guruji says that we thought now Guruji will go away from here. So Guruji suddenly opened the car and he's like, I'll come up and I'm going to sit in the waiting room. And we were so shocked that, I mean, in that hospital, in the waiting room, I mean, how do we, make place for Guruji to sit there? It might not be clean, it might not be right for him. That's what was going on in our mind. But by then, Guruji had already started, walking up his way to the area. And he reached and he sat down in the waiting room, and he kept checking with me and my mother that, what are the doctors saying? So I said, I kept giving Guruji the report that Guruji, they're getting the operation theater room ready. Now they're going to uh, get my operation clothes and stuff like this. So I kept updating him, and Gucci kept asking that, now what, now what, now what. So like that, about 20-25 minutes went by. And finally, when the time came that they got my, operation clothes, then Guruji said, now what? So I said, Guruji, now it's ready. I have to go in. And all this while, in these 20 minutes, I remember I kept thinking in my mind that, Guruji, I still have to get this operation done. It's so painful to think about it. I wish this operation could have been avoided. I don't want to go under the knife again. I don't want to go through this again. I've been through so much already. And I remember that Guruji did not, every second kept saying and kept giving assurance that all will be well. So I was like, okay. And I kept telling myself, it's okay, it's all right. And this was all an internal dialogue. There was no dialogue with Guruji directly. Finally, when everything was ready and Guruji said that, is it ready? So I said, Ji Guruji. So then he said that he got up to go. He says, okay, then I'll go now. And at that time, he walked up, to me, and he stood in front of me, and he just lightly, just with his finger, he just lightly, touched the face, and he said that, isn't it drying inside? So there was a lot of pus which was filled up on my face. And he said this twice, and it was not a question, it was a statement. I mean, why would Guruji ever ask anything? So he put it across as a question, that he said, isn't it drying inside? And then he repeated it, isn't it drying inside? And he gave that really, really sweet smile that he used to give. And when I looked at Guruji, and I knew that this was not a question, this was a statement that it is drying inside. Now you need to pick up the hint and go ahead. And believe it or not, me and my mother, the moment we heard this, we told the doctors that we are not getting the operation done. And, we are going to go ahead and see uh, how it gets cured on its own. And the doctors were absolutely shocked, angry, mad at us, because everything was ready. The OT, all the doctors were there. And they kept telling my mother that you have no idea how bad it is and how it can affect her, and etc. etc. You really need to understand that it can have serious repercussions and all of that. And so I was very clear. And I told the doctors no, and my mom also said no, we are not doing it. Then they got us to sign on a piece of paper that you're doing this at your own risk, which we did. And from there, so we just completely avoided the operation. We understood what Guruji was meaning to say through that supposed question to us, which was actually not a question, it was a statement. And Guruji takes his own time. This I'm giving you, what are the learning? And this was till the very end. He did not say anything before that, but towards the end, he said, gave a hint that it was drying, which meant that it's becoming okay inside. And now you need to take a call. So the timing of Guruji conveying something to us is totally, totally best left to him. And we should not force him, or we should not hurry him up. We should let him decide, and let him say when he has to say. So he said when he had to say. And then, when we completely negated the entire operation, and as I said, the doctors were very angry, but we were very excited. So me and my mom, we ran from there to the Jalandhar Mandir to meet Guruji from there. And the moment I remember, I stepped in, and the first thing that Guruji said is that, you know what, he was telling a few Sangat people who were sitting there that she's actually, given off the doctors and she's come here to me, that she's told them off and she's given them off and she's spoken things to them, fought with them, and she's come to me. He was so proud that day, I remember, of us probably understanding what his signal was. He was so proud of the fact that we took the decision and we did not get the operation done, and we understood what Guruji was trying to say and we followed it and we trusted it, though there was no visible difference at all. It was not that it had vanished, it was right there. The whole swelling was there, everything was there. But we understood what Guruji is trying to say. And we went there, and he was so happy that day, so happy that I feel that he just felt that, that even we as followers, it's like what teacher tells you to do something and you listen and you understand what the teacher's trying to say, or your parents or anyone elder, they're trying to convey something to you. And if you understand that and if you follow it through, it gives a lot of pleasure to, all our elders. Same with Guruji, and so much more for him, because he can see so much and he can tell you so much. But if we kind of understand what he's trying to say and follow as per he would like us to do, it gives him immense pleasure. So next time think of how to, how to, just kind of do something for Guruji. None of your expensive gifts, none of your expensive anything that you think that you can do for Guruji, and this way Guruji is going to get really happy, that it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. What works is time and again of showing that you understand his timings, time and again of knowing that he knows what he's doing, and time and again of leaving everything to him to decide how he wants to do, and you maintain your patience. This I have learned a lot, a lot. I'm still learning this, but I think this particular experience was that, and it took time. It's not that it vanished overnight. It took about the next 3 4 days, and but it did eventually get okay without the operation. And that is one of the biggest experiences from me, because today when I tell you about experiences with Guruji, uh, it's been 36 years and I would have experiences every day. But when I talk about these experiences, I talk about them because they have left many messages. Every such experience has left so many messages for us, that it is very important that we understand these messages and we follow them through. And by us being with Guruji in the living form, there are a lot of things that we have seen and we have heard, right? From our ears directly from him. So it would be great to share it with everyone so that they understand that in the true sense, what Guruji was all about, what were his principles, what was it that he wanted us to do, he wanted us to follow through. None of your rituals are important, none. How you do it, what you do, it's not important. If you follow the basic things about holding a satsang, where there is proper shabads, Guruji's time shabads, which are extremely important, and you have your arti and you have your langar prasad and you have satsang sharing, you've nailed it. That's what Guruji wanted. It doesn't matter how you set the darbar, because the basic essence is of a lot of what do you call, discipline, lot of cleanliness. Guruji was like all about cleanliness and discipline, and of just following the norms that have been laid down and not using your mind for your own, own motives or whatever, for your own publicity. So if we can follow these basic things that Guruji had said, I think we are good to go, and there is nothing more that is required. So this was an experience which gave us an insight into that Guruji's timings are like amazing, amazing. So this was one. And one more satsang that I would like to share today is, um, so I was in my college, and Guruji only had sent me, to the college. And I mean, he kind of, so I was sitting with Guruji one day in Empire Estate, and there were not many people. It was an off day for Sangat. But I was one of those few people who was there with him, and we were sitting, and Guruji was sitting on his, chair, and I was sitting down next to him, and Guruji just turned around and he just told me, Ki tu, you do your masters now, you do your specialization. And this was that Guruji had already, I was already married. And in between my marriage, Guruji suddenly told me one day that now you go and do your masters. So I got up, and I just did as Guruji said, and I got my admission into one of the colleges in Bangalore. And I went, as Guruji had said, to study there. I went there to study, and I was doing reasonably okay. And one day, when I had come on a small leave, Guruji uh, asked me, when are you going back? And you should not take too many holidays. So, keeping this in mind, I booked my ticket right for the day when my holidays were getting over, because Guruji had already sent a message that, don't take extra holidays. So, as Guruji said, I did that, and I booked my tickets, and I prepared to go. Now, as I was preparing to go, the next day, Guruji called up on my phone one day previous, and he asked me, "What are you doing?" So I said, "Guruji, nothing. I was packing." He said, "You know what?" He didn't pay attention to what I was saying, and he just said that, "You know what? You come here to be in Empire State." So I was so happy, because the time that Guruji told me to reach him was the time of my flight, which meant that I was just elated, because for me, nothing was more important, nothing was more joyful than being with Guruji. So I canceled my flight, and I reached Guruji the next day in Empire State, and I had such a beautiful. So Guruji one day he said that it had been 2 3 days, and Guruji said, "You know what? You come very late. You should come early in the morning, and you should call your husband, and you both should have langar here and go back in the evening." So I said, "Okay, Guruji." So I started coming to Guruji a little early. Then Guruji asked me that, don't contact anyone in Bangalore, don't find out anything. And I thought, okay. And after some time, when I realized that I had crossed 1 month like this with Guruji already, I thought maybe Guruji's made me leave the course. But I didn't question anything. And like that, the second month went by. And like this, 6 months went by. Now, when these 6 months went by, one day Guruji, asked me randomly after 2 3 months that, what's happening in Bangalore, knowing very well that I had no idea, because Guruji had given me clear instructions not to talk to anyone in Bangalore to find out what is happening. So I had completely disconnected. So Guruji says that, he asked me one day that, what's happening in college? So I said, I don't know, because I was not in touch with anyone. So Guruji says, okay, you know what? You go on first. And I didn't understand which first was it, the next month or the next to next month. But I just nodded my head and I said, all right, Guruji. So like this way of no clear indication, about another 2 3 months went by. Now, in between that time, Guruji sent me outside to do satsang and to talk about Guruji, which I did. And when I came back from all this, wherever he sent me to do the satsangs and to, get people to get connected to Guruji, he asked me that now you find out from your college what is been happening. So you won't believe this. When I called up my college and my university, they said that there was a new rule which had been passed, and the rule said that only a few, we were like about 10 11 people who were doing our course. Out of that, only half of them would be allowed to do the course, and half of them would have to postpone the course. And you won't believe it that my name was in the batch where the course got actually postponed by 6 months. And Guruji gave me those 6 months to be with him and to do things which were probably supposed to be done. And he gave me those 6 months of extreme happiness and bliss and a very, very beautiful environment to be with him in his fold. And I spent that time with him. So when I came to know that this had happened and that an entire course Guruji had stopped for me so that I could spend those 6 months with him, they were nothing short of a beautiful feeling. But once I came to know, and I started, I used to, like, I was still in Delhi, and I would touch his feet, and Guruji would just always tell me that, you know what, now you study, and now you're going to get you come study well and get your certificate, and I blessed you with a baby boy. So when Guruji used to say this, I used to wonder that, that I still have another year for the course to get over. So why is Guruji telling me this every day? And he would tell this to me every day without fail. That study, get your degree, get your certificate. And I blessed you. And I blessed you with a baby boy. And I hadn't even planned a family till then. And Guruji had told me very clearly that you plan your family once you complete your masters and you get your result. And once you conceive, your child is going to be a boy. So the path ahead, had made it very clear. And but Guruji kept saying that, do it and get your degree, get your certificate and everything. So I used to wonder why Guruji is saying this, but I'll give you the biggest reason. And I would actually not want to speak more after that, because that is one of the biggest satsangs. This one is the biggest satsang of my life. And I want everyone to think about how big this thing was. So like I said, he kept saying for 10 days flat that just get your certificate, study, okay? And I used to wonder, I said, of course I'll study and of course I'll get the certificate. And he kept saying this and he kept showering me with love, but he didn't say anything more beyond this. And I used to wonder why every day? And little did I realize that he was saying this because after 10 to 12 days, Guruji left his physical form. He left his physical form and he became so much more powerful than just being in that form. But for me, it was absolutely devastating. I was devastated inside because I could not imagine a life without him being in the physical form in front, because I had grown up with him. I had, like, my entire life was only and only about Guruji. So I could not understand how am I going. And yes, I was devastated for a very, very long time. And that's when I remembered how Guruji had actually laid out the path for me ahead by saying, just study and get your certificate at any cost. And in between, before I remembered that Guruji had told me all of this, I told my family members that I think I'm just going to resign. I don't want to do my course. I don't want to study. I don't want to do anything. I wanted to do everything for Guruji. But since he's not there in that form, I don't feel like doing anything. But yeah, slowly, bit by bit, I got a little ready for the for my exams. It took me a month to kind of at least get back to understanding that I had to study, and to understand that Guruji was so much more there now. But I did. I eventually went and I completed my graduation and I got my degree. And the moment I got my degree, I planned my family. And like Guruji had laid it out, I conceived. And when I conceived, I knew that is going to be a baby boy. So my elder kid today, my son, who's 16 years today, was Guruji's thorough blessing. As you can make out, Guruji had said it, and that is what Guruji does. You can feel that, some part of your life has been shut, but it has been shut to give you something more deeper, more better in life. And Guruji gave me those 6 months to be with him because they were actually my driving force. They were my life force. If I hadn't gotten that, I would not have known what to do. Because I feel that in those 6 months, I realized that yes, everything and everything is, I knew it before, but to be able to live it was another experience. And I am so eternally grateful that Guruji gave me that opportunity to be with him before he finally left his chola. It was a divine experience. It was a divine feeling. Cannot put it down in, pen and paper, but he gave me the biggest joy of my life, which was to be with him, which is enough, honestly, to survive this life. So today also, when we question Guruji again and again, and when we ask him to prove to us again and again of who he is, we need to stop. We have tons and tons of material on, whether it is videos, whether it is books, whether it is write-ups, to explain to us who is Guruji. So why are we constantly in that testing mode? We should not do it. It's our Guruji. Let's just understand that we need to be, you know, having that kind of faith. That's on us. And not question him again and again to prove to us that he is this God on this earth. So this is the biggest experience of my life where I got to be with him. And after all these years, because I used to always want it, and I used to always wonder that why did Guruji just let me get me involved in so many other things of life so early. But I think this was what Guruji was and is all about, knowing each and every person's inside out story. And my 6 months with him before he left his chola are my biggest driving force. I will end here because this is, 2, 3 incidents which I have spoken, which I really wish that you could just kind of reflect on this. I have so many more, but I want to put it down in small, small parts and come across and get it down to you in that way. And just keep the faith, keep your heart pure. And whatever you do, even if you feel that you are doing, seva is a very big word. We cannot actually do seva for Guruji. There is nothing that we can do for Guruji. Nothing. Everything that we do is for ourselves. But whatever we do, keeping Guruji in mind, remember, don't get any ego in your mind. Just because you're in a position of being able to do anything does not mean that you have the right to get the ego. Because this was one thing which Guruji always said, ego bahar chhod ke ana. Leave your ego outside and then come to me. So please, whatever you talk, whatever you say about Guruji, whatever you do, keeping Guruji in mind, whatever you think that you're doing for him, it has no scope, no space for any kind of ego. Remain humble, remain on this ground, remain where you are. As they say in the Shabads, if Guruji can give you everything, he can also take away everything. So remember to be ego free. Remember to be patient. Remember to be loving. Remember to be clear hearted. Remember to be truthful. That is the most important thing. And if you feel that Guruji is there, and if you know it inside you, so he's there, he's watching, he's hearing, he's seeing whatever you are doing. Just do it with that intent. Do it with that feeling. Because just speaking superficially and not feeling it is also not right. So I feel Guruji all the time. And I just hope that Guruji can keep us on this path and in the right way. We have lots of struggles. I have had immense struggles. I am still going through a lot of struggles in my life. I lost my mother a couple of months back, and these struggles don't end. They just don't end. But he gives the strength, he gives the courage to deal with it. And the biggest loss of your life can sometimes, how he takes care of you during this entire phase is satsang for the next time. But how he's kept us in his fold, how my mother is in his fold and watching over us is is a thought that we need to understand, that today if we do right, only then can we earn a place with him in our afterlife. And I think that is something that we need to work on. So I'll sign off here now, and I will meet you in the next recording very soon. Jai Guruji.